The dirty Ohio lol.
God damn.
Ravens live. Dirty Commanders. Bears. Vegas pirate flag.
Alright, so man, I hear that it's a video out, man. Better yet, it's a rap out about WPML. I heard this rap was kind of completed like 2 weeks ago. But it's funny because I'm guessing that King Ford was gonna win the Super Bowl. It's about my man Anthits. I mean, he name drops a lot of players. I'm not even gonna say who the name dropped. It's only hearsay. I haven't even heard it, but I'm about to hear it now. World premiere. Let's see what he got. Okay. Yeah, bro. Smut, aka Lil Rocket, man. Thanks for allowing me to bring all my homeboys over to your league, man. That bro in the building. Taking over shit, you heard? And it's the Raiders Super Bowl. The Cowboys. Next. I know it's the devil. First off, I want the Raiders, they go buck. The Irish Mike hit me big button. Second, I'm gonna go all these trade up. Now everybody grab the team, try and blow them up. Hold up, it ain't that, it's the scheme, dog. King Falk, draft rookie, 60 overall, it's the speed, dog. Plug them in and make them great. Now everybody and their mama try and run a fade. Hold up, shit, since a while back. The real boom, been killing y'all with the Wildcat. Bengals make the Super Bowl, straight copy that, we seen it. Shoot this, pack, Ben stopping that, fucking copycat. Roger that, we used to y'all haters. So straight over there, putting juice on these players. I'm the cover 2 slayer, throwing all over that. We told y'all album ain't never going back. Thank that bro for that. Smut is your fault. Every ball played is hits and ball. It ain't one of us, then it's from the middle. Hashtag that bro, run WPML, nigga. God damn.
Sheep's Kingdom.
Happy Halloween, fellas. Why y'all coming on in, man? Just playing some bass from the past shit. Now we do it. Welcome to the day's episode. This is the premiere, man. This is the premiere shit, though. The guru. I don't even know what the fuck I named it, but I know it's TeachNTellIt. TeachNTellIt. That's the title of it. Episode 1. I have no idea what I named my shit, though. Bear with me. Oh yeah, that's it. TeachNTellIt. Yeah, guru. TeachNTellIt. Premiere episode 1. Big things opping. Who your ops? We got ops out here, cuz. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna speak the young niggas language. We got ops out here, cuz. Stand doing business, my nigga. Before we get into the big things opping, little things. All right, man. First of all, let's put out there right now. Big congratulations to my man Hood Star. I call him Hood Star. Anyway, Hood Star on winning the year's 2 Super Bowl. The Miami Dolphins wins the second Super Bowl. And the thing about that, what makes that such a special thing, first of all, let's go back into our history. And let's talk about season one and how the Los Angeles Rams and Coach Jimbo, that's why I call them 30 for 30 over there, they took they took an unbelievable journey to winning year one Super Bowl, and then Hood Star comes right back and makes turns a bad situation into a pretty solid situation for us to finish out. But here's what makes the Dolphins Super Bowl so special: the Seattle Seahawks were on their way to an undefeated season, and if they would have finished the entire season undefeated with a Super Bowl, then you would have saw the 72 Dolphins record that's been held since 72 go down. So Snake brought this up in conversation with me a couple of days ago. What makes that game special is that the Miami Dolphins stopped a team from going undefeated by beating them in the Super Bowl. So that's special, man. Hoodie did his thing to take that Dolphins team into a Super Bowl. So now you got an AFC champion for a Super Bowl champion. We got an NFC champion as well. So shout out to Jimbo for year one and shout out to Hoodie for year two. Now, with that being said, it's a little fun though. We come out of the draft. We in the regular season. Games were played last night for week one. We're going to touch on all that. But it's my premiere show right now. It's the Dolo show, right? Motherfucking Teach and Tell It. Now, I mean, most of y'all should understand what my title of my show is, Teach and Tell It, just by the title of it, Teach and Tell It. Anyway, what we're going to talk about today is everything, right? This is no different than Real Talks or the Game of Thrones, the Throne Room and nothing like that, where it's just co-hosts. The only difference is I'm by myself and it's my thoughts, right? It's not my opinions or mine. It's not, any other person on here co-hosting, or no disrespect to my co-host, he's the best co-host around for sure, but it's all about what I think, right? The guru's perspective. It's all about what I'm thinking right now. So follow me. I appreciate all y'all that's locked in. Make sure you tag your name so I know you in here. Also hit that like button. That shit helps out tremendously, whether you believe it or not. Hit the like button, man, and then tell a friend that it's on again. You know what I'm saying? Help us grow the channel, because we got big things popping coming soon. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's coming soon. All right, so Sunday we got through a very, very non-frustrating draft. Like, I ain't have a frustrated Sunday. Like, I had people, annoying me as they always do, but like, it wasn't bad. We really got through it. And shout out to Snake once again for sticking around a little longer before he had his vacation to make sure everything was good and helping me out, getting things up and smoothly running and shit, right? Draft as a whole, let me just talk about, guys picking players and things like that. This was a pretty solid draft from everybody that actually drafted, because it was unorthodox in the sense of we couldn't predict like we usually can. What I mean by that is some of you guys get on here and do the same shit every time you draft. And we saw some of that from the same guys, but we also saw a variation of guys jumping into different lanes and understanding what they need over there for themselves and the way they're building, right? Some guys stayed away from the sexy pick and got to the big guys, right? Some guys stuck to the script and just continue to do the same shit over and over again, which gives them the same result on the record books. So, but there was some good drafts. Like, I think the first draft we had, even though we hated that draft class because you couldn't trust the players, I think the Bears were a team that had a really good draft. I kept highlighting them as one of the better teams out there that won that draft in the year 2024. The Raiders were there too, right? They started with the trades and the tanking, and then they absolutely won in the draft. So we got guys that did a really good job. But this year's draft, I think it's a lot more teams that really understood what they need and what they were trying to do and hit their targets. A lot of guys I spoke to enjoyed their draft, flat out. Like, even the guys that couldn't make it called me and said the computer did a really good job drafting. And my response to that is, that's because I do a really good job of making the players. I saw some complaints about us having a special receiver in the draft. I looked at the comment section and somebody drafted a 99 speed wide receiver. And I think it kind of had mixed feelings going out there. Some guys like, what the fuck? Just let y'all know something right away. I never made that player speed or excel. 9 out of 10 times I don't touch the speed or an excel. He came out like that. That was a shell that came out with 99 fucking speed. A couple guys came out with 99 spec catch as well. Now, all the other stuff, the other intangibles, attributes, I did. But as far as the speed and excel, I didn't touch that. In fact, it's been the first draft. It was guys that had that same type of speed that I took them down. So in the case of the draft class, speed usually comes how it comes. Not too many people with speed I changed. Mainly the D line and O line is where I really changed speeds. All right, so week 1 has passed us right now, interception leaderboard, and we only played 1 week of football. And DeMarcus Hightower for the Chicago Bears had 4 interceptions. JT Woods had 3, and Mekhi Blackman for the Vikings also had 3. These guys are showing no signs of slowing down. So we're going to follow these guys already. I mean, like, to start your week off that way, your first game that way,
Regardless, it's
that's
a
solid.
player league. Either draft to stop it, trade for it, or either or to stop it. Speed don't mean everything, fellas. Lamar.
Facts. Flat out facts. As we enter our quest of finishing our last season of Game of Thrones, our last ever season of me creating the league, Game of Thrones. So understand this is a special season for me. We're watching guys. We're watching guys develop. We're watching teams take that next step. In year 3, we still have a low amount of fully high enough overall ability wise to get all their boxes and anything's unlocked. We still don't have and a whole lot of guys in the league at positions that's threshold. Like, we still counting on one hand at each position, threshold wise, a player that's either 99 overall or a player that can get all of his abilities from X Factor down to the 4 superstar boxes and things like that. And that's really impressive for my league. So things are going really smooth right now. Things are going really smooth right now. All right. So like you play the seasons to build morale, and you want your team to gel. A lot of you guys are going to see your overalls go up. Some of you going to see it go down. It usually balances out at the end of the year. And then you should know what your true overall will be as you start to play games. And right now you should see your true overalls in a sense, because there's not too many games planned where you have green arrows up that affect your team defense, offense, and overall. But with that being said, how does it feel to be able to go pick clothes on your players now? We got rookies in the building that we can dress now. It makes it a little bit more personal, right? Makes you feel a little bit more interested in with that player or playing with that guy. Now, before we got into season 3, I did put it out there that, it's shells from that first class that can be dressed. And if you wanted your players changed where you could dress them, I would do it for you. Now, I've had about 4 guys hit me for it, and those 4 guys got their shit done. So if you see a lot of different editings going on as me changing player shells, I wouldn't recommend for anybody to, a guy that made the Pro Bowl or, had, like for example, my running back had a Pro Bowl. He rushed for over 2,000 yards. He was a guy. As much as I would like to dress him, you would be a fool to fuck that shell up, right? Because when you do change shells, you're dealing with, sometimes you hit on a shell, sometimes you don't. You might get a bad shell. So, and I've changed a lot of my guys from that rookie class because I redshirted a lot of them. A lot of the guys never even had stats at all. They were just developing on my roster. So I was able to change out guys. But I tell you one thing, I changed out my tight end shell, and I think I might have missed on this one because he's dropping a lot of passes, practice and game. But as we go forward and we start to continue to go, things should start to look smooth now, right? You can get to dress your rookies, and now I'm excited to talk about the diaper dandies. That's a big part of, my show and things I like to do on my shows. So let's get into it. As we left season 1, we are in week 2. Let's talk about the plugs that we need to talk. Fellas, I'm really serious about guys not playing games. You got a 3-game count, right? And I'm telling you now, if you are a guy that's on a bubble of losing your team, the excuse rate you have will be very, very light. Like, you won't better hit me with no bullshit that just by saying, oh yeah, like, I had this to do today, I couldn't get home, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna ignore that. If you miss 3 games, you'll be warned. The 4th one, you're gone. Simple as that. I have so many people that's looking to get into the league right now, and I don't want to get rid of nobody on purpose. But what I do know is history, and a lot of these guys have been active guys that's been in my league before. But a lot of these guys see the vision of moving forward. A lot of these guys want to get in the league now so they can have a spot for what's coming in the summer. Not just real drafts, what's coming in the summer. We'll talk about that. With that being said, let's talk about what's going on in the news. Danner, Helga Danny boy. I like him. On paper, the Jets and the Dolphins are 2 of the league's elite teams. This game has potential to set the tone early in the season. Yeah, we played the Dolphins week 1, and it was a interesting game. Very interesting game. But the Dolphins they're for real. They do what they got to do to win ball games. Let's just say that they do what they got to do to win ball games. It's not pretty all the time, and it's not what you want to see when it comes down to what they got out there, speed wise and weapon wise. But they do what they got to do to get. He does a really good job of mixing some form of real football into the video game. Like, he's a really good video game player, and he's fusing the two, and he's doing a lot of good things, right? But what I like about that Miami Dolphins team is defensively they can apply a lot of pressure on you. It seems like they got some type of good traits on momentum stealing, because once they take momentum, it's very hard to do anything on that football team. So I see them as a team that will be at the end looking to go back to back. They have that potential. And the Jets, to me, I don't know what they are going to be, right? They had a computer game, and it was probably one of the hardest games he ever had to play, playing the Cincinnati Bengals computer. But he has a young quarterback, young Marino Jr. is over there, and it can go 2 ways with the Jets. Their coach can lock in and play really good and take a rookie to a Super Bowl and win one with him, because the style of way he's going to play is going to be more protective of that quarterback. Or he might have another Wilson on his hands, who knows? But the rate he has to go is he got to get that guy developed. He had a reset, start over, and ain't really kill his team. He was able to make it to playoffs 2 years in a row, and he was also able to be able to play good football in the process of that. But rookie quarterback is a rookie quarterback. We'll talk about the quarterbacks in a second. We'll talk about a few guys from the rookie class. But the Jets, they got some things they got to get done, right? As they are a team that, if you listen to the media and things talking, their staff over there is super, 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 super excited about what they did in this year's draft. They really were one of the teams that had a really good draft this year. So look forward to those guys over there duking it out. And I do think the Bills have something to say about that as well. They made a decision not to get rid of Josh Allen. They came to the realization that it wasn't Josh Allen, it was their defense. And because they struggle on defense, Josh Allen is trying to do way too much, which is putting him in a situation. So let's see what happens with this Bills team. They had a good draft as well. We'll see how they continue to move forward to make that a 3-man race over there. Rams and Texans, 2 of NFL's top teams, meet this week. Are you ready? All right, man. It's a big game. A big, big game, in my opinion. You continue to see the progress between 2. When you look at the Rams, there's a progress on what they develop and building over there. When you look at the Texans, it's all about catching up to them being ahead of schedule. And think about what I'm saying, catching up to being ahead of schedule, right? You can be ahead of schedule and still need to catch up. You need to catch up to your team being ahead of schedule. That makes sense. I mean, that's the best way I know how to explain it. And I think they're getting there. They got a heavy running back in the backfield. Not too many backs we call factor backs, but that's a factor back in that backfield over there in Houston. Their quarterback is, he's continuously showing that he's a top 5 guy. So C.J. Stroud belongs at the quarterback position, and I don't think Texans is going to get rid of a C.J. Stroud. I think he's the face of that franchise. And as they continue to get better on defense, we should see the progress going with those guys right now. All right. A week 2 win for the Panthers in Seattle. Week 2 win for the Panthers in Seattle would be one of the statement games in this season so far. I would expect the Hawks to be like on fire right now. And I don't mean on fire like nothing they do can be stopped. It got to be very frustrating to be the best team in the league 2 years in a row and fall short. And I mean, you could say they took the next step by making it to the Super Bowl, but to lose it is probably, and then not, like, I think I would rather get blown out than lose a close game. And both the two teams that knocked him out of a Super Bowl opportunity or a Super Bowl win, both of them did it by, a low margin of scoring. Like, not saying the scoreboard didn't have points on it, but the victory was 2 points, 1 point, things like that. So if I'm the Hawks, I'm trying to do anything and everything I need to do to find a way, to get to where we're trying to get to, because at the end of the day, Super Bowls is what they want. And, that we're in year 3 now, and that hasn't happened for him in a while. Usually he win one right away, right? And then in year 2, he's, guys catching up a little bit, and then bang, then the beef really starts and figuring out who's going to win Super Bowls. But right now, he's behind schedule. Let's say that he's behind schedule. So the Panthers, if they are going to go into Seattle and upset them guys, it's going to be a hard task to do. You got to be having perfect football. You need some DVA to happen, and you need Madden guys to save your ass to go in there and upset them, especially with the Panthers drafting a quarterback in the first round after trading with the Bears 2 years before and going to go get Bryce Young. So what does that tell you guys? For him to spend a high first-round pick on a quarterback, Bryce Young isn't the guy over there. My question would be, where's Waldo with Bryce Young? Because if guys ain't having been, I don't know if anybody going to knock down the door for Bryce Young. I'll save that for the throne room, because I know Snake will have a list of guys that he should go to. So I'll save that for that. But think about it, Bryce Young. We also had the Cowboys reach for a quarterback, pick 19, and got the worst quarterback in the draft. So where do they go? They still got to play with Dakota, right? Because that guy that they got ain't going to cut it. The Miami Dolphins got a quarterback. I know in our game they started their rookie quarterback, and then they took a pause and paused it long as hell and sat his ass down, but they brought Tua back out of free agency. Like, that's the way to do it. Don't give him a big contract, let him leave. Nobody had interest in him, picking right back up. And at the end of the day, a superstar Tua, it saved him his first win week 1. Smart, right? Smart. The Jets got rid of Wilson, and he's now in New Orleans. How does that look over there, right? Can the New Orleans Saints take the new developed Wilson over there, and they take the next step? Because they've been dominating over there in the NFC South, and these guys have been a quarterback away from taking that next step. Is Zach Wilson the next step? We got a lot of good things that's been happening in the league. The Broncos have a new coach, and his first game, the Chargers and him went to the wire. Think about that over there. The Broncos picking up a D tackle with the number 1 pick, which was a smart pickup, by the way. But what do Stain do over there? Do he got after one off season, does he have a competing team? Or does he still, obviously he's going to have a lot of building to do, but can he look at his roster and say, all right, I got the pieces I need to be successful right now, right? Because he got to be looking at his division and thinking, I got Nano and Brandon over here, Bo. I should be able to win this division. That's how you should be thinking, right? Although Brandon, Bo, and Nano is going to be thinking you out your mind if you think you're coming over here dominating. Things just got interesting adding a new coach, right? This is why, some of you guys that play half the season every year are on my shit list right now because I could bring guys in that could turn those teams up that you're not playing well with because as soon as you lose a couple of games, you check out, right? And we could bring some coaches in here that's going to take those same teams and show us that you was really the problem and not the team. There's a lot on the line beyond the win when two top teams like the Broncos add the Raiders meet this early in the season. All right, so a division game, right? AFC West Raiders meeting the new Broncos coach. Big time ball game right here. Big time ball game. Brandon, you can take care of that drop the player situation. His contract was taken down for you. You can drop him and make sure just don't drop him because he's a superstar offensive lineman. Make sure you add the guy who he belongs to and make sure he definitely gets him because I don't feel like fighting guys to get the guy back from another team. Appreciate you if you already did that. Appreciate you. And then the guy from your practice that you brought in already is sitting on your roster already. Contract is lit already also, so you don't got to worry about having to re-sign him and nothing like that. Appreciate you for dropping him and not giving me no issues about it. Appreciate you. All right. I love seeing these games early in the season between teams with high expectations, Saints, Buccaneers. Just when I thought Junkyard was gravy done for it, he shows up in like the third or fourth round of the draft and locks back in. Now let's see if he can lock back in the game. Now a guy like Junkyard always gets a pass from me because he's up front and forward and he's been loyal to the league. But he's up front and forward about his schedule and things that why he misses games. So that's an understanding there. That's just like Mark over there at the Patriots. He can do no wrong. Not saying Junkyard can, but Mark can do no wrong. You're not getting with Mark. I don't care if Mark missed 2 straight seasons. He will never get booted out of my league. All right, everyone in the league is going to have an eye or two on this week's game. Steelers Ravens game. Oh shit. The last time Steelers and the Ravens met, it was a 28-26 ball game. This becomes a really good football game. I adore really good coach football games. Like I enjoy win or lose playing a real feeling for. I'm a football guy. Like I played it at a high level. I coached it, not at a high level, but I coached it. Me coached at a high level, but I didn't coach at a high level, but played it at a high level. I'm football in and out. Like so when I play a guy on a video game, and my last way of being able to still be connected with football outside of watching and rooting for teams and controlling it is through the game. So when I play a guy that give me a real football game where you can see the X and O's standing out, the schemes, the play, and like it's a football game, right? And like almost wiped out the video game and just turned it into a real life football game. When you have those type of games, I could appreciate that. So I expect this to be a big game. And in the fact that the Ravens are playing a very, very tough, very, 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 very tough, very, very tough season schedule ahead of them right now. They don't have time to, enjoy rookies and try to make those guys be things, win awards and things like that. They got to go out and win football games. Period, right? And it starts now because they are already 0-1 to the defending Super Bowl champions already. So they lost their first matchup, and they got to get back on track against a division rival game. So this is going to be all eyes, 2 eyes. It's going to be all eyes. There's some special young players in Baltimore. Like, cause they did a quiet blow up right now. Like, right, nobody paid attention. If you did, I'm quite sure you're all over my roster. But if you pay attention, I held on to players. If you know me, I held on to my players longer than I usually do. It took me going into season 3 to start getting rid of guys, right? And we did a roster reset in a sense, right? So we're very, very young right now, like very young. And usually that's my MO, right? Being one of the youngest teams in the league. And sometimes it affects me. Sometimes I get it done and can win one. And sometimes it affects me on winning one because I just come up to a team that's just better aware than us, more AI developable than we are at the moment. We saw some good things in our first game, though, out of the young talent. We got a whole young secondary, which has been our weak point of our football team defensively, and it's looking like it's trying to catch up to the front seven right now, and that's a scary thing in Baltimore right now. When you have an elite matchup like the Lions-Bears game, they're calling that an elite matchup. It is fascinating to see who's able to strike first. As a fan, this Chiefs Colts matchup is the type of game you love seeing on your calendar. Did y'all ever expect to see a Chiefs Colts game where the Chiefs aren't the fastest offense on the field? I don't think guys understood what the Colts have done in the 2025 draft. Not only did they get the fastest man on the planet, they drafted another receiver that was Johnny Blaze, flying. And what they did was they added him to a top 5 receiver already, right? And Josh Downs. So they just brought AR-15, some fucking weapons. And this is one of the fastest offenses in our league right now. What are they going to do? I'm all eyes on this game. This Chiefs Colts game, I can't wait to see those two diaper dandies added along with Josh Downs, and just to see with Jonathan Taylor, a monster running back in the backfield. They got a solid offensive line. I can't wait to see this matchup as Mahomes is starting to not fizz out, but he's getting quiet, right? He's not. He had a great first season, mid to shift second year, didn't make the playoffs. Can Mahomes turn up before his age turns up to the point where it's like, Packer fans, your newest addition at D tackle, Leonard Williams. We'll see what he brings to Green Bay. I'm not sure if that was a trade. I know I didn't approve that shit. Or maybe I did, I don't know. Or was that a pickup out of free agency? A great day for fans in Las Vegas as they watch their Raiders crush the AFC West rival Broncos 59-7. And there's your answer. All right, so the Raiders are no longer the team that you saw tank year one, right? This is a team that's ready to go now, right? They're still going to be a young football team in the head of schedule, but they're ready to go now. That's a statement. Now, it's not a testament to the Broncos because they got a new coach over there. They got to get some iron. They got to iron out the kinks and get things put together over there right now. And the Raiders are just a step ahead of them right now. And that 59-7 is a convincing win. That's huge, bro. That's big time. That tells you that somebody's ready in Las Vegas. I mean, I don't know if these stats are 2 games worth of stats, but anybody else checking out what these running backs are doing right away? I mean, Jesus. I mean, last year, I'm gonna just tell you like this: guys are check down Charlies all over the fucking place. I'm part of that system as well at times. But I'm gonna tell you like this: it's the wave of the game, right? And what you're saying is you're just saying, hey, look, man, Nick Chubb, 29 carries, 265. Look at B. John Robinson doing B. John Robinson shit, and now Kenneth Walker on ability has added to the equation now. 21 rushes for 197 yards, 2 attempts. You usually only see Kenneth Walker with 20 or more carries is when he playing somebody that's a threat to him. And I'm assuming that happened in week 1 because it didn't. I don't know if the Panthers and Seahawks played yet, but major stats out of running backs already. So we look like we're gonna have multiple 2,000 yard backs this year as well. P. Turner was open to a position change, so he'll now be taking snaps at left defensive end. Have to be a great athlete to be switched, so T. McCoy can make the transition to free safety. Well, he was already a safety, so I'm assuming he went from strong to free. That's not a big transition. I'm surprised McCoy ain't draft this McCoy guy. Very surprised. All right. All right, gentlemen. Again, make sure I hit that like button, man. Let me know who you hear, man. The comment section is active for you to be commenting in this bitch. Appreciate y'all guys that are engaged, kicking it with me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get to the get tos now, right? There was a draft that just happened on Sunday. There was some winners and losers of the draft, and we're gonna point that shit out. Period. As I do my annual position by position, we're gonna talk about some of these guys right now, man, and figure things out. As I know, we go to the go-tos. We go to the go-tos. All right, let's talk about these quarterbacks real fast right now, man, because it's quite a few. Now, it was a great runoff with quarterbacks uh, in the draft. Like this quarterback class, they went off the board. They went fast right now. So he's talking about Scott Messina. Now, Scotty was a guy from out of West Virginia who had solid numbers in West Virginia, but wasn't a guy that wowed you on tape. He was a guy that looked like he could be a game manager and a solid backup quarterback, and can come in and give you starting QB1 play. And then you start to realize that this might be a Brock Purdy situation, because what they did was they got him to Miami, right? And most would say, well, the one thing that you got was a faster Tua, right? You don't got a guy that can hit the 70, 80-yard bombs and throw that thing downfield. You got a guy that, is accurate, right? But that doesn't matter because he fits exactly what Hoodie does. And that video game play that he has with it is special to have a guy with good enough speed. Now he now has elite speed, but 88, 89 is great speed for him to run around with that quarterback. And he did a really good job of doing that against us, where they back up farther than the drop point and roll the fuck out and make things happen. And this was smart because the Dolphins didn't sign their quarterback back. They let him go to free agency, and not one of the 31 teams that didn't have him already was not smart enough to pick this guy back up. And one, you take a weapon away from a coach, right? He just won a Super Bowl. Why would you let him pit his quarterback in free agency because he didn't want to pay him, and then get him right back after the draft because he didn't sign him to a major contract? He got him right back later on, right? Somebody was supposed to play chess with this man and say, nope, you ain't getting him back. Figure it out. You want to ride out with this quarterback, Miss Messina. Because again, early on in the game against us, he struggled, got him off the field, brought Tua in, got a pick six, turned the game around, and then he went back to this guy late. I like this guy. He can make the throws, right? Anytime you 80 across the board and your accuracies and stuff, you're a solid quarterback. And this is the new starter over here, and he's going to be a guy that's going to be a guy. Now, can he take the Dolphins back to a Super Bowl? Is going to be the question. I think he secured his package in the sense of this. This is our guy going forward, but when we got to play the big games, guys that I know that's threats to me, I still got Tua to be able to, bring in the ball game and hold us down. So it's a smart move by Houston, by Hoodie. Very smart. All right, Davion Childs, 6'4", 233 pounds, out of Kentucky. Not going to wow you with speed, but going to wow you with his arm strength.
He will bench to a midway.
He already benched Tua. Tua already not starting. He started this guy, but he had to play me and my defense. So he needed Tua back on the field to stabilize his offense while his defense won in the game. Smart coaching. Again, chess piece. I can enjoy a very, very good, well thought out coach game. And it starts with the chess piece moving first, right? And Messina going to be a guy for this guy. Like, he's going to be a problem. We know if there's anybody that can play with a quarterback that doesn't have an ability, it's Hoodie, and he's going to do a good job with him. But the Davion Childs, I'm not going in the numbers. I'm just going at the player and his profile right now. My question would be, you gave up a lot to go get Kyler Murray. Didn't get anything out of Kyler Murray, right? So you can't develop a quarterback that needs to be developed if you're not playing all 18 games. Win or lose, you can't miss games if you want to get your guys developed. If you pay attention, the guys that are shitting and they develop fast, unless they got superstar or X factors on them, and they start developing because of the, that's the one thing about abilities. It's not just what they have on the field. Usually, into their threshold, you should be looking at guys that are superstar and X factors as guys that are going to develop faster than normals and stars. But I think they got a rebound from uh, Colin Murray because I don't know, he hasn't gotten anything done over there. We don't even know what's this team about. They've been a bottom feeder team in the league, and I don't know if it's because of coaching, or is it because of the inactivity, right? So you do go get you a guy that's a pocket passer guy, right? He ain't gonna wow you or running around. He's gonna throw the ball. Look at the deep throw accuracy, right? 93, and his throw power is 95. So this guy can get the ball downfield, and maybe that's a better fit for this coach and his scheme of what he wants to do over there. So I ain't mad at it. It's just that I wouldn't have made the trade for Kyler Murray if that wasn't the type of quarterback you wanted in the first place. It was other quarterbacks out there that can be statues with good throw power and good throw accuracy. But we'll see what this kid's going to do. He's a solid player. Like, this was a really good quarterback in the draft. So we'll see. And then look, as you can see, people saying he's used to things now, starting to understand what goes on over here. So he's going to be a little bit smart with the GM, and I like to hear that. But now, to me, just play games, because you can see Dalvion Childs develop way faster just playing games. Solid like that. This kid had never seen the field. This is a computer pick. You're looking at Bo Reynolds. All right, now I can't remember what quarterback shell this was and what his name was before, but this is what happens. You got to think about what they had at quarterback, right? They had the TCU kid that had an outstanding year that got him into the NFL in the first place. But he was a bridge quarterback. He was just there until they got a chance to get their guy. And boy, did they. Boy, did they. Because Bo Reynolds is now the starting quarterback in Las Vegas, and another guy that fits the exact conversation I was just about to say that I just had with Childs, right? Big body quarterback that can stand in the pocket and hit every throw on the field, especially the deep ball, right? Don't forget who Brandon is, right? Don't forget that they like to launch them motherfuckers, and they need a guy that can do it, and he has it now. He got a really good backfield, right? On this note, some of you guys are sitting on superstar X factors that might not be 30 years old, right? And we can't just drop them. But some of you guys are sitting on guys that haven't seen the field in a year or two. We're going to drop those guys. So you better start thinking about trying to get them traded or something. But we're going to start dropping them guys, because right now we're maxed when it comes down to ability players, and we can't get our rookies to break out during our mini schemes during training and all that, because we're maxed right now. So it's a lot of players. I'm not talking about guys that drafted. I'm not saying like, oh, you got 5 receivers on your roster, 3 of them are superstar, 2 of them playing, 1 ain't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying some of these guys that are getting up there in age, 27, 20, 28, and they haven't seen the field for 2 seasons. Those guys are going to get dropped down to fucking normals, or trade them so somebody else can use them, because we need to make room to better unlock guys and get guys, upgraded up. But again, to me, the Raiders got a quarterback now, and I think their offense is wide open now because they got strength in the backfield. They got a guy that can catch the ball really well out the backfield with solid speed, and they got a guy that can run between the tackles, and you saw that with Anthony Sanders last year. He's a monster running back. He's a big-time guy that can really, really produce for this team. And now they got a quarterback that can reach those speedy guys that they got at the receiver position, because they drafted another speed receiver over there as well. So they got some weapons right now. Their offense is young, and they're getting better. As you can see with that 59-7 score they just produced. But Bo Reynolds, pay attention, because out of the quarterbacks I just talked about so far, this guy should be one of those guys that's in the conversation for best rookie quarterback in the AFC, possibly in the entire league. At the end of the year, I just wish he ain't look like motherfucking a British bulldog and shit. You want his face changed? Oh my God, he look like a fat ass lineman. He don't look like no quarterback. He look like a nigga that guard the doors during club nights. He look like he'll bite the shit out you.
Rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling.
That nigga look like he drink bitter. He got the bitter beer face. That nigga it look like he just drink iced tea all day long. Don't he look like he can't fart? Like he just look like, damn, I'm gonna try to fart all day. This nigga ugly as shit. He look like he been working since he was 13 years old. Like hard labor though. Like just look at his face. He look like he only can say 3 words. Like he can't talk. His language is fucked up. He look like a nigga that only know how to say, fuck out of here. I'm starving. Yeah.
He looks like from the Green Mile.
He look like Baby Boy from the Green Mile, right? Boss.
I like to say, hey, rookie.
This motherfucker look like right for real though. Like he do look like he'd just bite the shit out you. Like y'all be arguing and shit, and then you just gotta go to the hospital for a tetanus shot because he just bit the shit out you for no reason. That nigga face terrible. You need a new. That's what his name should be. That nigga face. That's what we gonna call him. That nigga face. That nigga face right there. But that nigga face gonna be a good. He's gonna be a good player though. Real talk. Real talk. Next quarterback up is Kurt McGraw from out of Duke. Quiet as kept. This is a good quarterback that could probably take Matt Jones' spot over there, to be honest with you. Not that bad of a quarterback. Not super strong arm, but not a weak arm either. But very, very high accuracy from this quarterback. And the way Mark plays, right, look like, yo, dog, you want your cornbread? Yeah, that's what he looked like. He looked like the want your cornbread, dog. Yo, dog, you want your cornbread? He looked like the nigga that beat Eddie Murphy up over the cornbread. Yep. Hit him on a button. Let's go back to him. Let's button this motherfucker right now. It looked like he tapped the middle of his forehead 150 times a day. His forehead. Oh my God. It looked like he played rugby. This nigga played rugby. Oh my God. He referee lingerie football games. This motherfucker. Oh my God. This the nigga that was guarding 50 Cent when he was in Germany. Oh my God. This nigga terrible. This nigga look like Roadblock from G.I. Joe. This nigga look like Roadblock from G.I. Joe. He look like he wear number 145. This nigga got the fucking terrible face. Oh my God, he look like he played for the Raiders. I can get off on Kurt McGraw from out of Duke. And then there's the first 19th overall pick in the world, Carter Capps. I'm just confused on how D West, because at 19, it was still some dog quarterbacks that you can just look at and say, like, this might be a guy. And you go get the 5'11", 219-pound guy. There's no way his speed showed you he was flying and stuff. Like, I don't know how you made this pick at pick 19.
Wait, that nigga AQB. Loudly crying face, loudly crying face.
Bro, listen, I'd have drafted him as my field goal holder. Man, this the reason why he took a forced loss last night. He know it, like, man. And if you'd have answered the phone, I wouldn't have drafted him. Shots fired. He great fuck up my thing. I didn't want to show no stats or nothing like that, but there's no way he playing this guy right now. What I say? You ain't never getting on the field. You just a motherfucking rental. You better go get. Listen though, if I'm the Cowboys, you already wasted the first Bulldog rental. Yep. You gotta leave his face like that and shit. He looked like a motherfucking Michelin tire. And the Michelin Man mascot. That's what he looked like. Oh my God. His name is Bulldog Reynolds. I'm fucking done. That nigga smoke Reggie. He don't smoke no loud. That motherfucker smoke all regular weed. And his name is Junkyard. This nigga terrible. While he pulled a regular weed, I wish y'all could see what I'm doing right now. He pulled a regular weed and tapped the middle of his forehead all day. Yo, bro, why you tapping your forehead and shit? It's the weed, my nigga. It stopped me from motherfucking choking. You ain't got no neck, nigga. How you gonna choke? Nigga. Who the fuck made that face? Oh my God. What the fuck? You are the starting guard and the quarterback for this team, nigga. Oh my God. He out there smoking Reggie. This motherfucker out there blocking and throwing bombs. Oh my God. He got the I need 2 bars on my fucking face mask, nigga. Oh
Jets.
my God. He got the motherfucking let me leave that quarterback alone. Cause Clark Kent right here, he ain't it, man. Motherfucker, he is not turning into Superman. That nigga is not it. However, Brett Green, a backup quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. If I'm D West, I'd rather go get him, right? Dan Marino was the number 1 quarterback in the draft, and this was a win here for the motherfucking Jets. Let's just call it what it is. And the Jets bust a power move, bro. Like, they literally got themselves to the number 2 pick, or the number 3 pick in the draft. Traded, got more capital for later on drafts. Like they did some GMing, bro. Like they did some really good GMing. You usually don't see that out of Falk. So you could tell when guys lose games that's important to them. Like you could tell the guys that really care about their football teams. Like you could tell, right? You saw McCoy. Part of that you could tell, right? He goes and gets Zach Wilson. That's a fucking monster move. And he didn't have to lose anything in this year's draft, right? It gives him time to reset and get picks back if he needs to later on. But he got a signal caller. And if you're the Saints, you have to feel like I'm a ability quarterback away from really taking this thing a little further than where we've been going right now. Because right now you want to join that mix of the 305 crew. You got Jimbo with the first Super Bowl, Hoodie with the second one, and McCoy's potential of being able to do it too over there. And like that got to be a storyline. That's why I wasn't being a smart ass when I changed the lead to 305's lead. Like they won both the Super Bowls so far. Like that's what they came over and do their thing. Right? It's up to us to stop the shit. I was part of the chance to stop it, and I didn't. I gave up the first major Super Bowl. Right? Possibly my loss probably is worse than Craig's loss to the Dolphins, right? We were expected to win that game by multiple scores and had a dog fight and then got dominated in the second half for real. I mean, the scoreboard didn't show a dominant game, but they dominated us in that game. But Dan Marino Jr., right? Here's the thing. All the eggs are in this basket. What the Jets told y'all.
You got my card.
What's wrong, baby?
I went to go get a thing for my beats, and I walked there. I got up there, and I don't have my card. You got it.
I probably do. Yep. Are you sure you're ready to walk right back? You want me to go get it for you? Can you take your dog with you, please? I don't feel like him crying in my face. Get him out of here.
Come on, Sarah. Sarah. Come on, let's go.
All right. I probably wouldn't have named you Dan Marino Jr. I don't know if that's like I'm in the AFC West and I'm playing the Dolphins twice a year. I'm going to disrespect them with their legend and put them on the Jets. I mean, I would probably make Brett Favre, but you ain't going to make Brett Favre because he stole all the welfare money. You ain't going to make him. I probably would have made Aaron Rodgers Jr. That probably would have been a better name, Aaron Rodgers Jr. Right? Aaron Rodgers about 55. He could have been a junior. He's still in the league. I don't know. But anyway, dogged, right? Number one quarterback in the draft. He was actually the number one rated player in the draft, right? And if you paid attention to the guys that were top, when I scream top 10 and you hear it, all of them going to be at 86. Nobody came out higher than 86. They might have went up higher than that 86, but nobody came out higher than 86. And Dan Marino Jr. was quarterback number one in the draft, flat out. And I'm assuming this was the quarterback number two. I know for a fact it was. So they named him Drew Raines, and I like it. And both these teams that are with the top quarterbacks in the draft, right? Top 10, Dan Marino went at pick 3, and then Drew Raines went a little later in the first round. Did he? I gotta check and make sure he didn't slide to the second, because some of these quarterbacks slid to the second round and later actually. Nope, first, like pick 16. All right, so I can see D West missing that because he got him at 16. D West had the 19th pick. All right, Drew Raines though. All right, so this was the second best quarterback in the draft, and some could have called him the first because between the next 3 guys that I'm talking about right now, any of them could have been the number one quarterback. Right? We had 4 quarterbacks that could have been the first overall pick potential, and guaranteed first round top 5 to 10 players was at the quarterback position, and Drew Raines is one of them. Right? Very, very, very solid quarterback, and what makes him good, you got to think about it. Love just wasn't the guy over there. Even though he developed him a little better in the first year, going into year 2, I think the Packers realized that they're a signal caller away from being able to dominate their division. I think that's how they feel, right? And they go get that guy.
Seahawks blockbuster on the horizon.
So I think they went and got their guy. In my opinion, I think this changed that Packers offense over there because they got the weapons all around. They just needed a quarterback, right? And they got that. So we should see better play out of the quarterbacks. Out of the Packers going forward, right? And they unlocked their guy right away with their coaching staff point, so he's ready to go now. You don't have to worry about him unlocking on his own. And they got a guy that can move the pocket, and he's good enough to be a dual threat quarterback with the 88 speed. And here's why he's a true dual threat, because not only does he have solid speed, 88, but agility, change of direct, that's high, right? So you know the guy. And then he has good throw power. Now, not sure if he came out with 95 throw power, but the greenhouse up that you know on his coaching tree, he got his quarterback throw power sky high, looking at 86, 88, 87. The number 2 quarterback for sure on the board, but I don't know if he was the number 2 quarterback overall for real. We'll see when they start playing games, right? So Marino, Raines, and then Amari Braxton, right? This is the quarterback that moved up the board late. This was another AR-15. Now, what makes this guy a problem is he's another guy that went to a team that was a quarterback away, in my opinion, right? I think the Commanders' defense itself has been building, and they got guys up front. Now they got a quarterback that they can actually believe in, right? They don't have time for Howell to develop over there because you got a small window before guys start to get a little older and you start to, reset some things. They bring a guy in, right? And this is the quarterback that fits his offense. I know because he's off of my coaching tree. Their offensive coordinator is off of my coaching tree, right? So I know the type of quarterback that they're looking for, and they got exactly that, right? And now you got a guy that, throws the ball 93 throw power, that's solid. 94, you want to get over to 95 and above to be elite, but 93, 94, that's solid. You can get the job done. Deep accuracy is there as well, but the throw on the runs, the break tackles and run, all that stuff, that shit's there, right? Break sacks and then play rec 95. That fits exactly what the Commanders want to do over there. What makes me intrigued about watching Amari is because they got a basketball team at the receiver position over there. They don't have a receiver in the building under 6'5". That matters to them, right? And you got a quarterback that's mobile and can make things happen. Now, how do they scheme all that weaponry they got right now together and take full advantage of the towers they got at receiver? Because their slot receiver going to be 6'6", 6'5", and that matters on this game. Size and height does matter. You can tell the difference in the middle of plays. If you don't believe me, go to practice and throw it up to a 6'3" or above guy, and have a 6 foot or 5'11" guy covering him, and you can see it. And then there's Billy Grooms. This is the guy that the Panthers drafted 2 years later after drafting #1 overall Bryce Young. This is the guy that comes in right now and is going to take the job of Bryce Young. I don't know if Bryce Young is going to play. You don't pick him. You don't pick him in the top 10 and not play this guy. But he hasn't played yet. So now I'm confused. I got it. He's making me do this. All right. So you got Bryce Young, 90 overall. I mean, obviously, the only thing that you didn't like on Bryce Young had to be the 89 throw power. And if you hear me saying height matters, I'm quite sure that might be a problem for him as well. Make this make sense. Because to me, making this pick at 10 when you could have picked anything else that could have been a win. Not saying that Billy Grooms ain't a win at all. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you already have Bryce Young on this roster and you haven't played Billy Grooms yet, he's not your day one starter, what are we doing here? Because in my GM mind, Bryce Young was already on a block and people calling in for him right now. Like, I could see Bryce Young in Dallas. I could also see Bryce Young in California and Santa Clara. But we know accuracy and completions and throwing good footballs, all is combined with throw power as well. So is that the reason why Bryce will not be a guy? Because his throw power only 89? I can see. I think Hendon Hooker already a perfect quarterback for you over there. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get Bryce Young, who got 89 throw power. Well, the way you throw the ball, yeah, you can probably make that work though. And it could work. I could see Jacksonville too, but then it's like you done shuffled 3 quarterbacks in 2 seasons when you already had a dog ass quarterback. So it's a little confusing unless you just want a faster quarterback, because if you go to the Seahawks roster, the quarterback you got rid of wasn't slow at all.
Jags rotate QBs like under.
So you had a fast quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if that was his original speed. I doubt it, but he was dual threat enough to get in Hendon Hooker, who actually looks like Trevor Lawrence probably looks in real life speed, right? Look at Hendon Hooker, and then you go get Bryce Young, and not for nothing, you had this guy in year 1.
Face exhaling, face exhaling.
All right, yeah. Yeah.
What's the goal for this one?
Here, let me kiss her. You go. All right, make sure she's straight, right? Because she didn't go back outside, did she?
Sound like she did.
Oh, shit. Because you know she confused. She don't know what the hell she wanted to go get a charger. She is? She said that?
Mm.
All right. All right, I'll pay attention to her.
Needed to fit other spot on the team.
I think they're hanging up. All right. Hey, man, whatever. You got to do what you got to do to get to what you're trying to get to. Simple as that, right? And who are we to question your moves? I'm just saying, you know, if you are in the hunt for Bryce Young, you probably better off waiting for the next draft and just drafting the quarterback. The more quarterbacks that go that we talk about, the less you got to worry about waiting, having a great pick to get one, right? You don't got tank and none of that shit because, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No.
I was
Where'd that guy
planning
go?
a
5,
thunderbolt with Hooker.
6, 7, 8, 9, and then even, oh no, that's Anthony Knight. 9 quarterbacks should be starters for their teams right now out of this year's draft. So I would just wait. I wouldn't do it, but at the same time, I could see it too. So, but I definitely could see him in Santa Clara or at Dallas. All right. I like these quarterbacks. We got some new blood in the league when it comes down to the quarterback position. We got some guys that's looking to set the new wave off of our top quarterbacks. Um, how many of them are going to? What you looking for?
Did she have a bag when she came up here?
My mom?
Yeah.
I don't think so. All right. This is what we grade do. I gotta attend to mom. She doing too much right now. I'm gonna come back again. Let me get her situated. We're gonna do part 2 of my premiere because I was actually enjoying conversating with you guys. We're having a good conversation. It feels good to just hear myself talk to you guys, especially with y'all communicating. So we'll be back for part 2 of Teach and Tell It, and hopefully y'all enjoyed the first part of my new premiere, Guru Teach and Tell It. Premiere episode 1, season 3. We're out of here.